Hey, what is going on, guys? We are back with the new version of the Monument. The Monument is back with the Monument EX. This one I am getting as an early sample. This is not yet released here in the US, so if you've pre-ordered here at US Gundam Store, this kit has not arrived, and I believe it should be arriving in about a month or so, but I'm getting this early copy. So as it goes with these larger kits like this, I am going to separate the unboxing video, which is what you're watching now, and the review video will be separate. In the meantime, I will be live building this over on the USA Gundam TV channel. If you want to check out the live build, you can watch that over there. Make sure you subscribe to that channel as well. But I also live built the original Monument kit when that came out here on this channel. You can go back and check that video out if you missed it, and that review. Mostly this is going to be the same kit. I don't think that there's really going to be anything changed under the hood, as it were, except for like maybe some parts for the backpack, of course, because now it's got those big wings on there. We do have some new weapons parts that are going to be added onto the shoulders. There is going to be some differences in the design, but for the most part, I'm expecting most of the kit to be basically the same and just as good, because the kit was really nice. I really enjoyed the first Monument, and so really looking forward to building it again in this new version, the Monument EX. So let's go ahead and get into the unboxing video. Let's go. And so first of all, the box is massive. On the top, we do have a handle here, and on the front, really nice photo of the Monument EX there, looking very regal there with all white with a little bit of gray and yellow accents in there. It looks really cool. They're 1/60 scale plastic model kit. The sides also going to be relatively simple here, but on the back side of the box, you do have this really cool pose there with the new weapon that it's got. Actually, both the new weapons. It's got the shield with the heat whip and then the massive cannon there attached onto the opposite shoulder. Looks really, really cool. All right, and then inside here, is going to be all of our runners, which we will run through in a minute. But after digging through the runners, I was able to locate the manual for a second, because it was the very last thing that I found inside there. I thought, oh no, there's no manual. But it is actually rather small in size. It is does have a good thickness to it, because obviously there's a lot here, but it is in this smaller size, which I kind of like, I think. It just means that while you're building, it's gonna take up less space on your desk, which is nice, but hopefully that also means that it's not like too small to see. You know, I'm an old man, so I don't want to be like squinting my eyes at like really teeny tiny instructions, but I think it looks okay. As I said, I think it's pretty well spread out, as the manual is pretty thick here. The first couple of pages just going to be the parts list and everything, and then after that it gets into the construction. So it does seem to be pretty well spread out, that I don't think that the size is going to be that much of an issue. As you can see, everything in here is all in black and white. So I do kind of wish that we would have had some color photos. Looks like there's a little bit of an amendment page here that's in Chinese. I'll have to translate that, but just looks like a simple part there for the cannon maybe got mixed up. And as you can see, we do have a little color in here actually, just for some of these parts, just to make sure that you have the orientation correct there on the wings. But once we get to the final assembly here at the end, assembly of the base, which looks to be like the same base that was used in the original kit. And then lastly here, just the decal placement, where some of the decals are gonna go on the kit. And this is also in the color image there, sort of, although I guess the kit is not just very colorful generally. So other than that, no other photos or anything in there. So kind of no frills as far as the manual goes, but it does look cool there on the front. We've also got a couple of small screws here. Not sure at the moment where these are gonna be used, but we'll find out. And then we've got this piece of wire, which is about 33 centimeters in length. At first I thought, what's that for? And then I realized, oh, it's probably for in the heat whip. So I'm guessing this wire is going to be strung through the parts for the heat whip, so that can help it to hold its shape. We'll see how well that works again in the review as well. We'll come back to that. And then we've actually got not one, but 2 sheets of water slides in here for a big kit like this. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that it's gonna need a lot of water slides, but there's a ton of water slides here. Just look at all of those decals. They're gonna be there in black, white, and red mostly, with a few of them being in gold and silver there for the Monument EX logos. That's pretty cool. We've got some more Monument EX text, otherwise mostly just kind of standard caution, like warning labels and stuff there. So that's the first sheet. The second sheet going to be similar with a larger gold and silver bits there, and then just some more caution markings in red, white, and black. So a whole lot of waterslide decals with this. That's definitely going to take some time, but those do look really nice. All right, let's get into it with the runners then, and actually just gonna start off with the base. The main base plate is this big, huge piece. Again, this is the same as what was used for the original kit there in gray And then we've got all of these parts here on this runner here for the main parts of the arm, which is going to hold up the kit there, also in gray. But these parts that go around on the base that are in this different kind of light tan, this beige sort of color that we are going to see, and a couple of different spots there on the kit as well. So that's for the base. You do also have these very long beam saber effect parts here in this clear sparkly orange. This is runner 1J for the beam saber effect parts. Now getting into the rest of the runners proper here, the first majority of the runners are all going to be from the original kit, and then we'll get to the new runners at the end. So starting off here with runner A1, we've got 2 of these, a large runner of white parts there. Runner A2, a smaller runner with a bunch more white pieces. Similarly, runner B1 here, we've got 2 of, with a bunch of armor pieces there in white. And runner B2, a smaller runner there with more pieces in white. Runners C1 and C2 then are going to be in a light gray color here. There's runner C1, runner C2, we have 2 of. And again, lovely detail on the armor pieces, a lot of great detail on this kit. Runners D1 and D2 are once again a little bit darker shade of gray here. We got runner D1, 1 of those. And we've got 2 of runner D2 here. Runner E1 is here in this light tan color, and we've got 2 of those, where runner E2 is once again in that light gray that we saw on the D runners here. Then with runner F, we're getting into parts for the inner frame, which are all going to be in this medium gray color here. Runner G, a very large runner, we've got 2 of them, so there's a whole bunch more frame parts there. Runner H being the largest runner, a very large oversized runner here, a bunch more frame parts in a little bit different shade of gray though, not quite as dark, a little bit lighter for some of these. So even with the frame, you will have multiple tones of gray there. And that continues here with runner I1, some very large parts of the frame here on runner I1. We've got 2 of these with a bunch of really great detail on them. And again, a little bit lighter shade of gray here for these parts. But runner I2 then is back to the darker shade of gray that we have for a bunch more parts of the frame. We're going to then break from the large runners and have a few smaller runners now. Runner J is in this light tannish kind of beige kind of color like we saw with the parts on the base. Runner K is some accent parts here in a very pure yellow color. Runner L is a few more accent parts, but in this case, it's in a little bit more of an orange yellow color here. Runner M is some parts here in a clear yellowish orange. And as you can see, it does look like we are going to have all the parts to make the original crest on the head from the original kit if you wanted to. Personally, I prefer the new one. And then runners N and O are going to be in like a clear bluish green and clear pink respectively. That little clear heart part actually does go in the chest, where in theory the pilot would go, if I remember correctly, right in the middle of the chest. So it's just kind of a fun little Easter egg inside the kit there. And that's the end of the parts from the original kit. Now we're getting into all the parts for the Monument EX. And so these are noted with a 2 in the front. So now we're going to A1, which we've got runner A1 here. Runner A2 is going to be the same, I think, or very similar, just kind of mirrored, I guess, maybe. And then we've got 2 of runner 2A3 here for some more parts for the wings. And then just basically loads more wing parts here in white. In 1/60 scale, they're going to be very, very large. Here's runner 2B1, 2B2, and then 2B3 here. They do look like they're going to be modeled very similarly after the MG Wing Gundam Zero Verka kit, the recent Verka release. That does seem to be probably the inspiration for a lot of the design. Here we have runner 2C1, as well as 2C2, and 2C3. Again, just lots more white wing parts. We're going to break that up though with some mechanical parts here for runner 2D. Here, some mechanical parts for the wings, looks like mostly there in kind of a little bit light gray. Runner 2E, we have 2 of those. Looks like just like the connection parts for the wings. Our last runner in white here is going to be runner 2F, which is going to be the parts for the shield and for the heat whip. So you can see all those parts for the heat whip, including this tip part, which is very long and pointy there. Runner 2G1 is some parts here in light gray for the shield and the cannon there, and then 2G2, some more parts here in light gray, some more parts of the heat whip and parts for in the shield and in the cannon, just kind of parts for the weaponry there mounted on the shoulders. Runner 2H here, some more parts in that light brown, light tan, kind of beige color there for some new parts of the kit. And the last handful of smaller runners here, 2I1 is this clear yellow effect part for the cannon, which does look really, really nice. Runner 2I2, a yellow part there for the crest, and runner 2I3, a yellow-orange part there for going inside the crest, so you'll have a kind of like two-tone yellow there for that crest piece. Runner 2J is some parts here in a clear orange, which looks really nice. And then runner 2K is some pipe parts here in a yellow-orange color. Last couple bits then are these 2L runners, very odd-shaped runners here. Parts for the shoulders, it would seem, in a light gray color there. And lastly, runner 2Z, they kind of skipped a few letters. I think they just wanted to get to Z in the alphabet. A few more little connection pieces here, I think just for mounting either the shield or the cannon onto the shoulders, something like that, it would seem, here for this last little runner. And that's it. There's a whole lot of kit here to build. As you can see, it's going to take quite a while, but we will do this live again over on the USA Gundam TV channel, probably over the course of multiple live streams. So check that out if you're interested. And then we'll have the review coming up back here on this channel afterwards. But for now, thanks so much for checking out the video, guys. Again, if you want to pre-order the kit, if you have not pre-ordered it and you want to make sure to get your pre-order in before it does arrive here at USA Gundam Store, you can check the link in the video description below. But for now, I'm going to go get to work. So if you enjoyed taking a look at the unboxing, make sure to leave a like. Make sure that you're subscribed if you're not yet subscribed. I really appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.